This week on Pivot with Purpose.
When I was about 6, 7 years old, my dad ended up going to prison, and he was in there till I was about 11, 12. So during that time, my biological mom nor my dad were in my life at that point.
Where was your mom?
I didn't really physically see her again till I was like 9, 10 years old. I knew who she was, but I didn't know where she was at.
During those years?
My mom got into drugs and stuff.
Did it affect you not having her there? Do you still feel those effects now as a mom? Like,
if I'm honest, I completely detached from my mother at that time. It took me going to therapy. I can't undo what's already been done. Now, being an adult and being a mom myself, I really understand that like parents aren't perfect.
Welcome back to another episode of Pivot with Purpose. You'd think it was wilding out because we're having such a good time right now, but you weren't here for the before. Maybe one day I'll let you in. I don't know. I am so high, but it's okay. This is how the good episodes come. The funniest part about today is that you're like, wow, she put makeup on or tried to do something with her face for an episode. And it's because I have someone who, as of today, actually, I realized I have been messaging for 5 years. I just noticed today, literally when you liked the story. Oh so I have Kay-Lani, also known as the mega makeup artist on social media. I think that's what you're mostly known for.
Yeah.
Viva Glam K. So hello.
Hi, I'm so excited to be here.
Thank you for being here. Don't be soft-spoken now, girl. I heard you talking earlier. We're back. No, so yeah, so it's Viva Glam K. You have, massive following on social media. You're right here from Orlando. Mm-hmm. So it's like, oh, I get to talk to someone. You have an amazing story. Like you share a lot.
I do.
So I like that because so do I. Probably too much. Yeah. But
Yep.
Makes me money. It's fine.
Exactly.
You guys can find out after the fact. It's fine. So I posted a story earlier today, and as I'm coming here to park, you liked because I tagged you and I was like, oh, letting these bitches know I got Kay-Lani coming. So I look and I'm like, wait, there's something beforehand. I scroll back to July 23rd, 2018. And it says, hey, love. This is me talking to you back in 2018. I have a podcast. Shit, I'm 30 podcast. Out of Orlando. I would love to have you on for an episode about Afro-Latinas and our struggles at times being accepted in the American culture by those that don't understand us. First of all, I've been pitching for a very long time. Niggas. Don't be like, you come on my podcast? For what? So she didn't reply to me. She didn't even reply. She was popping. So I had a little podcast. And this is the when I think about like alignment and how things happen and also how people perceive you and how to approach folks as well. Because I just sent the DM and that was it. It was one DM. Then that November, I think you were in an event that I was at. And then I tagged, it was actually this. Do you remember this?
Oh, yeah. Oh, wow. That was a while ago.
I think that was at Loud,
yeah,
the gallery.
That was a long time
So
ago.
you were there at some event 243 weeks ago.
Oh, my God.
And I was recording and I tagged her and posted it. She still didn't see it. So today she saw it. So I saw that. And it was just one of those things that's like, one, it's a reminder, keep going. Because you never know at what time or when and the right time. Back then, if you would have answered, you would have came on Shit, I'm 30. And that was July. I was still working corporate. So you were coming into my kid's playroom to record. Okay, that's where you were going to come into. And it still would have been great. We would have been viral. Amazing. But there were no cameras. There were no pictures. They wouldn't have seen the eyeliner and the wing you got on. And the really like cool stuff that we'll talk about at the end of the day. But here I am 5 years later, forgot completely about that. And then Paola's like, oh my gosh, look at this.
Aww.
So versus I would have talked to you back then maybe about makeup.
Yeah.
And I don't know, being an influencer. You're so cool. Today we have like some
more
amazing,
of a story.
It's a story and a half to tell. So shout out to Paola for like bringing you back on my radar. Before we get started, we're about to get started for real. But we got to shout you out for always supporting the podcast. Like I always ask you, make sure to leave an Apple Podcast review and a 5-star rating so we can continue to grow and keep telling people, like what we do when we're here. Because, when you go to Amazon and you go to the rating and if it has no ratings, you don't buy that.
That is so me.
You go and find another one of the same with more ratings. Yeah. And that's really what happens with podcasts. Well, for like new listeners that just happen to scroll and they're like, oh, this, it gives it. And so does to the advertisers. So I can continue to give you free content. Mm-hmm. And the advertiser will continue to come because they see that we pop in. Okay. So Sofa. I wonder if it was Sophia. but you wrote sofa. So Sophia W. She said, godsend. I'm so grateful that I found you through a friend. Who is your friend? You should have shouted them out. Your podcasts are basically the story of my life. I am finally exiting an extremely toxic relationship with a narcissist. I'm praying for you. You have helped me so much. I feel enlightened. I am also a Florida girl and legit have my friend listening to you. Have all my friends listening to you too, and we both agreed you should be our friend too. We're friends, girl. Thank you so much for what you do. Aw, see, I love that. That's one. Sweet. Florida girl. 407 Chopper City. Okay, relax. But yeah, we all have like, well, she's like, when you said, your podcast is basically a story of my life. My first thought when I read it, I was like, your life sucks. Because we are struggling. I am fucked up one day, and the next day is mentally, the next day is anxiety. Then I'm like, oh, got a lawsuit. I'm like, you sure we relate? But then there's also the great sides of, the blessings that don't stop coming. So we got to take them both at the same time. Okay, I was going to talk about the Mexicans and the birds, but we're going to talk about that next time. So y'all remind me in the comments. Kay-Lani, we're first because since I just took this radio job, right? I got a job. A 6 to 12 technically. 6 to 10 though. Like it's wild. I gotta be there every day. Like I gotta show up every day. It's wild. But we have this little segment where we bring up a few things that are current event, but kind of like put our opinion towards them. So Gabrielle Union was on a podcast, of course, because everybody be podcasting. But basically there was an episode and she was asked, and she made it clear that she's not going to stop showing off her figure anytime soon. Somebody said, you're old enough to be somebody's grandma. Why are you still wearing swimsuits? So Gabrielle Union responded, and she was like, also, she's like, first of all, they're not just swimsuits, they're thongs. And you're going to see these cheeks until my ass literally falls off, and I might just wear a swimsuit in my casket. She goes, I don't know. That might just be for you, for that one commenter. It's just going to be like me in a thong, ass up in my casket. So that's how she responded to it. Like, bitch, I'm 50 something. I look damn good and I'll continue wearing it. And if I remember correctly, years ago when I was following you, you talked about body positivity.
Yes.
And I don't know exactly, don't remember the details behind it, but what was your struggle? Because you've been public for a long time.
Yeah. Well, after having 2 kids, your body changes and it's a roller coaster. I'm not going to say like every day I wake up loving my body. Some days I feel snatched and other days I'm like, sis, you got to go to the gym. All right. You've had the membership for 3 years. It's time to go.
Yeah, right.
But, I mean, at the end of the day, as much as like my body's changed, it changed for like a really good reason. I brought 2 lives into this world. And I think that we just need to see more of that. I really dislike the whole snapback culture thing. Because
Tiana Taylor can do it. Just
I know. But like, not everyone's genetics are like that. Right. And I think that, for me to have the platform that I have, just to be very raw about that journey, because again, I think that a lot of people can relate that, some days you feel great, other days you don't, and social media just being a factor and comparing your body to other people.
People mean to you at any point? Have you ever had people like shaming you for your body?
Oh, girl, all the time.
What?
Everything. Because I'm so honest and so real and I'm not filtered about a lot of my struggles, sometimes that could be a hard reality for some people.
It makes other people feel uncomfortable.
Yeah,
like,
that I'm so comfortable talking about what they're uncomfortable with. And, but at the same time, again, I know I have a large following and a lot of them are mothers. So I think that part of like having that platform and being, I hate to call myself an influencer. I really don't like that like terminology. I just call myself a content creator. I think that influencing just kind of comes with being like, yeah.
But you definitely influence the masses.
I do. And I know that, but that to me comes with like a really big responsibility.
Very much so.
I'm not careless when it comes to being an influencer. Right. And I'm very aware of who follows me and who's watching, including my oldest daughter. You know, girl B, I swear, I tell her, she's like the controlling husband that I don't have, because where are you going? What are you doing? What time are you gonna come back? And I'm like, sis,
let me live.
Yeah. But, you know, having a daughter who's also watching, I'm just very cautious of what I say, because I know that ultimately, like, I'm the prime example for her.
Right.
And I think just having daughters in general just makes you just, you know, very hyper aware of like what comes out your mouth.
I agree. How old is your oldest?
She's 9. She'll be 10 in November.
Yeah. During that time, I know I worked in the clubs, and I've always been a very free person. Like, my thoughts, anything that I do or believe in, I'm open about. I don't put anything behind closed doors. But I do remember knowing, like, anything you're doing, make sure you're okay with her doing. Exactly. And I remember being in the clubs and making all this money and taking all these niggas' coins. But I remember seeing girls, like, I mean, it's the culture of the clubs, like, smashing for some money or whatever. And that was never me. I mean, I fell in love with one little guy and then we dated or whatever. But I was there, like, hustling, right? I'd be like, hey, you want the blunts inside? There's security. They can't get me for this, right? Can I go to jail for this? I'd be like, $50, give me the blunts, put them on my side, get them to security, give it to them in the VIP. Like, always, get me some girls. Now that I think about it, this is probably wrong, but I'm like, I know which ones are down to fuck. So I'd be like, give me some money. Bring you know what I mean? So I was like, if think about it, I'd be cool with her doing this. Just don't be the other one. Like, I was making a lot of money. Yeah. But, and also, like, I kept my integrity. Like, there's no one in the industry at all that could ever say like I was wilding or anything like that. So I'm like, oh, okay. So I understand that, like, what you're doing on social media and on the bigger platform, we're so scared for our girls to, like, they're gonna follow every single step that we make.
Oh, for sure.
And then
because I mean, that's just the reality of social media these days. And I feel like younger generations are getting, you know, social accounts way younger than, you know.
Why do 6-year-olds have TikTok?
I don't know.
I get out of here. This is my space to be a thought, and now I have to sit here and worry about influencing you.
I know.
Like, where are your parents? I know. And tell them to not follow me. Okay.
Tell them to not follow me.
I can't. But you will wear what you want, when you want, how you want.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I tell my husband all the time, you're lucky I'm not, like, thinner, because there would be a problem.
It'd be a problem.
I'd be naked, like, all the time.
All the time?
Yeah.
Yo. And social media also, like, get you fucked up because you be thinking everybody looks so good. Yeah. I was in Vegas, if you know, you know, with a friend of mine. And we were taking these bikini pictures because Bikini Honey, by the way, shout out to Bikini Honey, best bathing suits. Like, bro, she gave us these bathing suits. We wore them. So we're going to take pictures. So we take these pictures and I'm lit. Like, I'm having a good time. It's my one day of vacation. One day out of the 6 days that I've been gone. So I'm like, I'm going to post them. I look good. Hey, Biddy. I post like 5 of them, okay? Boom, post, put whatever caption. She posted pictures and I look at hers and I was like, damn, did we take pictures at the same place? Your lighting is like popping, the contour. She's like, oh yeah, face tuned it a little bit. You let me put a chicho just out? I could have tucked this. Stop. I could have tucked the roll. I could have gave me lashes. I could have smoothed.
Yeah, you could do it all.
I could look like you right now.
Yeah. And you started with a bare face.
Bare. Mm-hmm. Bare. And I was like, yo, you tricked me. But also then I looked at it and I was like, you know what? I'm not going to take it down. Yeah. I'm like, because I don't usually post in my bathing suit. Or if I do, it's like, I don't know. I did a lot and didn't even check it beforehand. But I was like, you know what? That's you. This body gave life to 2 humans. Yeah. Like, it's fine that the chick in Vegas has a 6-pack.
Yeah. I show my stretch marks because, I mean, that's real. Like,
right.
That's just, a lot of us have stretch marks. So, like,
my entire ass is covered in stretch marks. And it's not even big. Girl, so I don't even have an excuse.
Listen, I'll be in poom shorts and everything.
But you got, I don't care. She got body, yaddy. I'm over here, SpongeBob square ass. She got the body. So she has the excuse for the tiger stripes. Me, I don't know what happened. I don't know. For whatever reason. But yeah, so being a mom and getting older and publicly showing your body, you're gonna gabby it up.
I am.
You should. And your husband's cool with it.
Yeah.
I love it.
I mean, if anything, he encourages it more. Yeah.
Not being your cheerleader. Show them cheeks, mommy. Show them cheeks.
He's always like, I just love how natural you are. I'm like, you too. Okay. But it always helps having a partner that, encourages that. And because again, I think naturally just women, we're so hard on ourselves at times that it feels good to have someone that kind of like, pumps you up and says like, you ain't got nothing to hide. Like, you shouldn't be hiding that. So.
We're going to talk about how you got him in a little bit, but not quite yet. Not quite yet. Then there was another, actually, I don't even want to talk about that because I feel like we got shit to talk about. We're going to go straight into it. Okay. We're going to go straight into the episode. So I told you I'm going to touch a little bit on the business and your makeup influencing business because that's where I found out about you. Mm-hmm. I don't know for what because I've never done makeup. I think you just look good while doing it. I have no idea for what reason I was following it because I was not trying to do anything you were doing. I was like, she used more than one brush for her eyes. Negative. She put lip liner and then 2 different colored lipsticks. Oh yeah. Not doing it. Like I was like, vibe. Which chapstick? Like which flavor? But what has your journey been like, from the beginning of that influencing till now? Like, because we're like when it meets from you starting there to you becoming a mom.
So I've actually been doing this for over 10 years. And every time I tell people that, they're like, really? And I'm like, yeah, I started and it wasn't even a thing when I first started. There was, no way to make money from it. It was very new to everyone, including brands. But I first got my Instagram account and I used to work at CarMax at the time.
Like the car place?
Yeah. Okay. And so I have a lot of knowledge about cars.
I know what that car chapstick. I'm like, oh, that makes sense.
And everyone always used to tell me like, girl, you don't need to be working here. You're too glamorous to be working here. My bills. Yeah. So then I was like, all right, I think I want to work at the hospital. So then I got a job at the hospital and I was like, yeah, this is not my vibe either. So I was so trapped in there.
Which hospital?
And I worked in Arnold and Winnie Palmer. Okay. I kind of like did both and that just wasn't for me.
As well.
And I also had a lot of nurses and stuff. You do not need to be working here. You need to be doing something with makeup. And back then, I didn't have the confidence I have now. That's for sure. I was around 19, 20 at the time, and I'm 32 now. So that's to give kind of like a reference.
Totally different person.
Yeah. But one day I was just like, you know what? What's the worst someone's going to tell me is no. So I went into Mac. I went in there like I worked there. I was in all black and everything. Yes. Like I had the job and I had my portfolio and I was like, I'm not giving my application to anyone but the manager. So I want to talk to the manager. And 2 weeks later, I was working for the company.
You had Mac.
Yeah.
Yes.
So back then, like working for Mac was like, and you know what you're doing. Right there. Like, yeah.
Mac makeup artists were like top tier. You guys were literally looked as like the Mecca. Yeah. And I don't even know shit about makeup. My older sister would always be getting all kinds of lipstick colors.
You were like that it person if you worked at Mac. Yeah. And I, when I started working for the company and I developed my skill a little bit better in like makeup, I started taking clients like outside of working there and I ended up getting pregnant with my oldest and I just was like, yeah, I can't do retail while pregnant. This is crazy. And I kind of just ventured out more into like the freelancing world. And I was posting a lot of my content on Instagram, like my before and afters. Mm-hmm. And that was like
doing other people's makeup.
Yeah, but that just snowballed into something so much bigger than I thought it would. And just while I was pregnant, I was bored. So I was like, you know what? Let me just start a YouTube. I have nothing else to do. So that's kind of when that started. And then I swear, like I blinked and then it just became like this big thing. I think I just started at the perfect time. I'll be honest. If I started today, I don't think that I would have been as.
Is the right, what's it called? The right place at the right time?
Yeah.
You were in the right.
Yeah. And I think kind of like not having a plan in place worked for me because with my anxiety, I'm like a big planner and overthinker.
So crazy how anxiety gets everyone different.
Yes. And I think if I like had kind of like a direction I was working towards, I just don't think I would have like made it as far as I have in this industry.
It's also divine timing. I feel like when it's your time. Like you just said right now, you don't know if you started now, if it would be a thing.
Yeah.
back then it was in your heart to do it. You started and you did it, and that was your calling.
Yeah.
And there might be someone that starts today and it'll be their calling that in 6 months they'll be doing makeup for Beyonce, right?
Oh yeah.
It's just more of going in towards your inclination and doing it because that's what you want to do and you feel called to do that.
Yeah.
Versus doing it because, oh my God, Kay-Lani did the makeup thing, so I'm gonna try that too because she has done all this with her life. Let me do it. Or look at Carla, like she started a podcast and started doing this, so let me do it too, and let me try to go down her path. Yeah. It's more you can use people for influence and to kind of like look up to them.
Inspired, but I wouldn't necessarily try to follow someone's exact path because that's just not. Yeah, everybody has their own story.
Yeah.
And I anytime like younger girls are like, how can I do what you do? And I'm like, it has to start with you loving it. That's number one. You have to be passionate about something.
Broke, like with no money coming in.
Yeah, because a lot of people want to be influencers now because like on the outside it just looks so amazing and it's like you get to make money working home and all you got to do is like film yourself and I'm just like
it's not that simple.
It's not that simple.
There are editors.
Yeah.
There are lots of cameras. Yeah. There is tons of content. There is uploading gigabytes
it's a lot
of videos.
Work. And I do it all myself. I've never had a team.
You've never had it? Why do I feel like, who lied to me? Somebody done lied. Or maybe not. I don't know. No one's ever edited your videos?
I briefly, for like maybe 6 months, my dad had like a friend that worked in he had like his own little studio. And I like attempted to film there. But I just didn't feel as comfortable as I felt like filming at home. And I just like learned how to edit myself.
You did great editing when you little transition. Like,
I was like, I'll just like teach myself and I don't have to pay anybody. And I get to pocket everything. It's triple the work, but
and the business aspect of that, and then I won't talk about business all the time. But you thought something. You're like, hey, I can edit it myself and keep 100% of the money. As a business owner and a businesswoman, have you thought of if I outsource some of the stuff, I can reclaim my time, make more content, and then make more money?
Yeah. I definitely have like thought about that, but at the same time, I'm so particular with my content that I don't feel like anyone can do it.
Could that hold you back?
It could, but I think I'm at a point, like I've been doing this for so long that I'm okay with things being a little slow for me now.
So you're good where you are. You don't feel like you want to stay right here at the moment.
Yeah, because I think like, I mean, I also believe in kind of like, allowing like the newer generation to kind of step in. And
I fuck them kids. They are ungrateful, don't want to work. You take it from them.
I can't.
No.
My audience has definitely grown with
They show
me.
up for 3 months and leave for 6. They are not consistent.
No, and I think just with having my kids now, like when I started, I didn't have children. So I was just focused really on myself. And now I have 2 kids and I'm married and I'm just trying to like soak in a little bit of everything. But I also am at the point in my life that I don't want to make my whole life about content creating. And it was like that for me for a few years. And, and I feel like I just got so lost in that world at times that I just feel like I wasn't present in moments that I should have been present in because I was just so worried about like, this could be content. Like I could film this, So the older that I've gotten, I don't know. I'm cool where I'm at right now.
That's good.
Chilling.
And at least you can accept that I'm a workaholic.
Yeah.
So I'd be like, what's next? You know, I just got a call and I literally just got off the call with my assistant and I'm like, hey, so we need to call X. I need a copywriter. We need to call this one because I need a content research. So I'm adding people to the team constantly. And I'm probably like, maybe I'm not seeing as much profit, but the bigger picture for me is that in 3 years, it's going to be so much bigger. I'm getting that compound for my team. I know y'all listening while you're editing this. Y'all all motherfuckers moving to Florida, okay? I got this is going to be a compound. We'll get you a big house. And I'm also going to have the office right there. You just got to walk. And if you call out sick, I'm going to check on you. And I'm going to make sure you're there. You're still going to get vacation time. They're going to get like 3 weeks vacation. Very flexible. You don't have to, I don't care, 24 hours a day. You work whenever you want as long as you turn in what you got to turn in. I won't hold you down to it. Yeah, and I'm gonna have childcare. So you bitches can have babies all you want.
Yeah.
Put them in childcare. Get to work.
Don't
tell me you don't have childcare.
Yeah.
We just closed a contract, by the way. Oh, I'll tell you about it, Carlos, later. But the big contract that I sent the proposal for, got it. Yeah, just yesterday. So, man, who are we? Okay. Carlos, you're coming too. You're bringing the studio to the compound because we can't go nowhere. Okay, but that's part of blessings that come in while everything feels terrible. But yeah, when I see a business owner and I'm like, hey, I can find ways to make it bigger. You ready?
Yeah.
I got a team for you.
My dad's like that. My dad's very like, how do we find the next dollar? And I have a little bit of that too.
Mm-hmm.
But I think like I just try to find a balance between family and work.
You guys bring balance to the world. If everyone was like myself and your dad, it'd be a fucking shit show.
Yeah.
Because everybody'd be like, we want more.
Yeah.
And it's like, we need
I've had to learn to just be happy with what I have because there's a lot of people who wish to be in my position, and
and I wish to be in somebody else's position.
But I feel like with anxiety too, it's just like for me, I just didn't feel like healthy mentally when I just always felt so I just wasn't content. I always wanted more. Okay. And I just had to, I'm in therapy too, and I've always been super pro therapy. And I just had to learn to just be like content and present, like in a moment. Don't worry so much about the future. Like things are going to fall into place. At the end of the day, I still have my talent. The talent's not going anywhere. And I've learned the skill of filming and editing, and on top of being a makeup artist. And a lot of people follow me not just because of the makeup, but it's just my story. And so, and those are things that just come natural to me. And I'm just a creative person, so I don't really worry too much about it because just like, being a creative, it's like my brain's always going at the end of the day.
You always know if you need something, it's like, well, I'll rev up here and I'll pull up.
Yeah, I can always come up with something. Yeah.
I love that. So that's amazing. Keep going. Business wise, you're clearly doing fine. But I'd like to say shit. I'll be putting my 2 cents in. Now what I talked about earlier that you and I have in common. How old are you?
I'm 32. Okay.
Why am I always older than everyone? You shared on your social media. Now you have your Viva Glam K. That's your makeup.
Yep.
Now you have Vida
with Viva.
Vida with Viva, and that is your lifestyle family page where you talk about your personal things. So recently what Paola sent me was a post about your eldest daughter, who you said is 9, and you shared that she has precocious puberty. And my eyes just lit because I have never clearly I never met you, but I'd never known of anyone to even speak publicly about precocious puberty. And when my daughter was 5, she's now 18, she was diagnosed with precocious puberty. So probably you're wondering, if you're listening to this, what the hell this is. And I feel like we need to have this conversation because it's something that's not spoken about. Most people will have it, or some kids will have it, and the parents just won't know because they don't know what they're looking for. And you have to be at a specialist to get this done, and a lot of tests to figure it out. So I'll bring some facts of precocious puberty, and then I want to talk about, how you noticed it, those signs, and what it's been like, and then the difference of the journey where you're at right now versus where I am now that my daughter's 18.
Yes.
And how it's affected her. So precocious puberty is when puberty essentially starts before the age of 8 in girls and 9 in boys. So both sexes get it. And that's why it's considered precocious puberty. Now, it includes a few different things. Rapid growth of bones and muscles, change in their body shape and their size, so they grow really fast, and the development of the body's ability to reproduce. So literally, like, their hormones are going, like, they're hitting puberty, ready to, like, be able to reciprocate, have kids, like whatever puberty does, reproduce. And then the cause of precocious puberty, here's with the kicker, we don't know where it comes from. Like, it's not something that's like, oh, your mom had it or your aunt had it or it's a family thing. There hasn't been a find as to why it's happened. Rarely, sometimes I say some conditions such as infections, hormone disorders, tumors, brain abnormalities, or injury may cause precocious puberty. Those are some things that they say could, but really that's every child has had an infection. Like, they will have some type of injury, like things will happen. So we really don't know where it comes from. And then the treatment for precocious puberty includes medication to delay development. And that's what, that's the only treatment for it, honestly. What age did she get diagnosed?
She was about 5 as well. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So I want to see, what were your signs to notice with yours? I remember with my daughter, she was 5, had a crazy growth spurt. Her kindergarten year, like, she was towering over the rest of the kids. Now her dad is 6'8". So I figured that she's a big kid.
Yeah.
You know, she was preemie, 3 pounds and little. And then all of a sudden she just sprung in 3 months, but like something really weird. And then there was body hair and odor. Like she smelled like a grown man. You stink. Why do you smell so bad? So you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Woof.
Yeah.
I was like, you were little.
Yeah.
Are you shitting yourself again? You were potty trained. You were in kindergarten.
I can't.
But no. Just kidding. Poor kid. Those are some of the things that happen. That's fucked up. I'm sorry, kid. So what were some of the signs for you and how you noticed it?
So when she was about 3, I noticed body odor, and I felt like that was really young to have body odor. So I did bring it up to the pediatrician. But she was like, oh, that could be genetic. I was like, well, it ain't for me. So I can tell you that much.
I'm like, what you
Yeah.
I'm
I'm
like, I come in here stink?
yeah. I'm like, that is not from my side. And so whatever, doctor didn't think it was like a big deal. Then when she was about 4, she lost like her first 2 teeth at the same time. And I'm like, wow, this is really young to start losing teeth. So
I'm glad you knew.
Again brought it up to the pediatrician, and some kids lose teeth early. It's, not really a big deal. Okay. Then I noticed body hair, and I'm like, all right, at this point, I don't think this is normal. Right. So I wasn't really getting the answers that I needed from the pediatrician, and with my insurance, I don't need a referral. Like, I could go straight to a specialist. So
she said she got that good kind.
Yeah.
I pays for the good one for my family.
Yeah, I pay enough. That's the least they could give me. So I took her to an endocrinologist myself.
I wonder if it's the same one on Princeton.
Dr. Villar. That's who I take. It's right. I mean, it's like part of Orlando Health. It's
right there in the front. Yeah, it's he's the only one. And he worked with the treatment of it. At UF.
Yeah. So she got a bunch of testing done, and they had to do like an ultrasound of her ovaries and like uterus and stuff. And after I got the results back, they were like, yeah, she's going through puberty. And when she was 7. She had got her first period right before she was supposed to start her hormone injections, like a month before.
Why did they wait? Oh, was she 7 when you took her to the endocrinologist?
Yeah. So I waited a while because, again, the pediatrician wasn't really giving me answers that I was looking for, but I'm like, I mean, she's not complaining, so whatever. It's just me noticing things. But then after a while, it's just like, all right, because by the time she was 7, I mean, sis already had lost about like the whole top row of her teeth, and I'm like, she's grown up teeth already at like 7. So that's when I was just like, all right, I think I need to go see a specialist.
Different.
Yeah. And then so she started her injections like in February, but she had her first period in January. And I called the doctor and I was like, oh my God, she started it. Now what? And they're like, no, we can still give her the injections. It's going to stop it. Okay. But I was freaking out because how do you teach a 7-year-old about
in elementary school?
Yeah, and not just like what it does to her physically. I was just really concerned what it was going to do mentally because no one could relate to her in her age group. And I had to give her teachers like pads for her and put it in like a cute little bag where kids wouldn't notice what it was.
And there's no waste baskets in elementary school for pads.
Yeah.
I remember that having to like wrap, my mom teaching me how to wrap
it.
Yeah,
I had to teach her.
Throw it in the main garbage.
Yeah, I had to teach her how to do that. And I just feel like that's so much for a kid that age to take in. Yeah. And that was more like my biggest concern. And kind of like your daughter, she's really tall. Her dad's like average height for a guy, and I'm short. I'm only 5 feet, but my dad's like 6'1", and everyone on my dad's side is pretty tall. So again, I thought it was like a genetic thing where, maybe she just got like that
coincidence.
Yeah. I'm like, maybe she just, I didn't get it, but she, because things could skip, and I'm like, yeah, maybe she got it. But she was like 6 wearing like a size 9, 10. And I'm like, all right, this is like,
wow.
I'm like, girl. And every like 3 months I had to go shopping for her because she was just growing out of her clothes that quickly. And when they started her on the medication, she was on it for like 1.5 2 years. Yeah, because now that she's about to be 10, I made the decision to stop it.
Got it.
Because now I feel like she's at an age that let the body do what it wants to do.
So what about the bone growth? So one thing that I do remember us really focusing on was the x-rays of the bones.
Yeah, and the
constantly
hands
the
and
hands.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So one thing about precocious puberty is that puberty period, when you hit puberty, your bones grow really fast, and that's it. Yeah. Once you hit puberty, you only have about a year of growth then. So us as women, we usually get our periods like 13, 14, normal. And then you're basically done growing by like, we ain't no bigger than we were like 16, 17 years old. Yeah. Like that's it. And for guys a little bit older than that. But when you have precocious puberty, those bones grow really fast. So most people that have undiagnosed precocious puberty are very little. Yeah. So they're very small and their faces look a little funny. They look like old little people, but they're not old. Yeah. Because they just grew really fast. Yeah. And then they weren't, if you grow gradually, you can get to where, Ayana was supposed to be about 6'2". And we got her from 4'6", 4'7", around there to 5'4". But she didn't hit puberty. We found it at 5, right? She was about 6 months out.
Like right before.
From starting. Yeah. So we were able to really gradually, she stayed on until she was 11. Yeah. So I see that.
I'll be honest, the biggest reason why I stopped it was her like emergency surgery that she had back in March. So my oldest has scoliosis as well. And she has to wear like a back brace because she has what they call an S curve. So her spine looks like the letter S. Poor baby. And that comes from like her dad's side, like genetically. He has a lot of family members that have it and have had to get the surgery to correct the spine. And she had been complaining to me that her leg was hurting, but I thought maybe she has a pinched nerve because her spine is curved. And like most kids do, like one day they complain about something and then the next day they're running around like nothing ever happened. Right. And that's kind of what was happening with her. It's like it was on and off. I didn't think anything of it. And then one day she was just like, she couldn't even, her bedroom's upstairs and she could barely make it up the stairs and back down. So I was just like, all right, let me make an appointment with the orthopedic, which is the doctor for her back.
With no referral because she got that insurance.
Yeah, exactly. And he did an x-ray and her hips were like had she fell just one time, she would have needed a hip replacement. No. Yeah. So the doctor told me that he thinks it was correlated to the hormonal injections because it had nothing to do with her back. And from that point, I just felt that I would rather risk her being short than to be putting her bones through some stuff that I wouldn't want her to go through. I would definitely say
Ayana had a lot of joint pain. Yeah. So we dealt with a lot of joint pain. Like she couldn't. Yeah. We had to do physical therapy for her to be able to get up and down from her knees. Yeah. Because they would crack and they would be very painful. Yeah. So our hips, joints.
I don't know what injection your daughter was on, but
the Depolupron, I believe.
Yeah, that's the one that mine was on.
I believe that's the only treatment for precocious puberty. Yeah. But how often would your daughter get hers?
Every 3 months.
So when we started, that every 3 months one wasn't around. Oh. We had the every month, and this is
that needle is so big. Girl. Like I had to buy her something every time because I just felt so bad.
So to this day, she remembers I would bring shades. Yeah. And we would pretend like if you have shades on, no one can see you and nothing hurts. And we would create, it was every 30 days. Yeah. We had to be there. Tough. An intramuscular, so if you're in the medical field listening, it's an intramuscular shot. The needle is like a foot long and big. They stick it in there for so long. Yeah. So it was monthly. It wasn't until about her second or third year in that we started coming every 3 months, and it's like, thank God. Yeah. Thank God we can finally like not bring her here.
And
as
that
often.
Liquid looks thick. Like what they inject in them. Insane. Yeah. Then you feel like a guilt putting your kid through that, but at the same time it's like if it's gonna make you suffer less, right. We got to do what we got to do. But now she's like my height, so I'm like, I'm fine being short. So if she turns out to max out at my height, right. like I'm okay with that. Are they still
doing the bone age
stuff? So she hasn't gone back since like her surgery because that just kind of threw everything.
How's she doing with that?
She's totally better now, like no pain in her legs anymore. Nice. The scoliosis is still a whole nother thing though, where that could possibly turn into a surgery. We're crossing our fingers that it doesn't, but we're prepared if it has to be. How do you deal with all of
this emotionally? as a mom because, boy, let me tell you.
Well,
it is taxing.
When they told me she needed the surgery, I lost it, if I'm honest, in the doctor's office. Because I think had he told me she needs surgery for her back, I would have been prepared for that because I knew she had back problems.
Right.
But the hip thing just came out of nowhere. Like, she was fine a couple months ago when we were here. And now all of a sudden, oh, she's getting admitted right now. You need to take her to the hospital. Don't let her walk. She's going to be on a wheelchair. And I'm like, it was a lot to process. And, I called my family hysterically crying. And my dad's like, don't cry in front of her. And I'm like, I'm trying, but like, I can't help it. And it's a lot, but I try not to just like do it too much in front of her. That moment, I'm not going to lie. I don't hide my feelings in front of my kids either, though I don't believe in doing that because I think it is very important for kids to see that like parents go through the waves too. I'm not the type of parent that I'm just going to pretend I'm perfect and okay all the time. Right. Mom has her bad days. And I feel like by her knowing that also prepares her for reality when she becomes a mom too. Not every day is going to be great. But, it is a lot, but I'm very grateful that I have a huge support system with my family.
Your
and
family is on top of it.
Even my Instagram family, girl, like she had about 80 gifts from Amazon sent to her just from like my followers.
I know she's like, hello.
She was like, when is my next surgery? I'm like, girl. So I'm just grateful that we really do have like a big support system from people that we know personally down to people that we've never even met. But that's a blessing. Such a blessing. Yeah.
You definitely need that community around you for something like this.
Yeah.
So I remember thinking every time there was something different.
Yeah.
Because there are side effects to the medication for my daughter was an eating disorder. Mm-hmm. Because what happens when you, just a little bit more science from what I remember, the medication is suppressing her from going through puberty, but her brain still believes it's going through puberty. So she would be hungry. And when you're going through puberty, those kids eat a lot. Teenagers,
that's my daughter right
so
now.
They're eating and eating because their brain is like, you're growing. Eat. The medication is suppressing any growth. So she was, it didn't matter how much she ate, she would constantly be hungry. So I remember her being like 6 or 7 years old and crying to me. So I always talk about the fact that I don't own a microwave. I just got a microwave again after 11 years.
Really?
11 years I haven't had a microwave. And the real reason why I didn't have a microwave and I got rid of it was because when she was diagnosed, I needed to get rid of any type of junk food, instant food. We had to eat healthy because when she wanted snacks, it needed to be carrots or a salad bowl with meat. Like I couldn't keep cookies or chips or, Hot Pockets or things like that were quick to eat because she was constantly hungry. Yeah. So she would constantly be eating junk food. Yeah. And I needed and she would hide and try to eat because I was like, that's just enough. I know you cannot eat anymore, but your brain is telling you still have to eat. Yeah. So a side effect, I guess, could be, what happened to your daughter.
I believe it because, my daughter is kind of going through that right now. Like, her appetite is through the roof. And I'm like, girl, you just ate. Let the thing digest first before you go and eat something else.
And they'll tell you, I'm hungry.
Yeah. And I'm like, how could you be hungry? Like, you just had dinner.
Right.
But at the same time, like now that her surgery's over with, she recovered. I have a pool in my yard. So I've been encouraging her to go in every day just to get some type of activity because I think the appetite on top of her not being able to walk, she gained weight because of that. And so now any opportunity I have for her to be active, I encourage it. But I also, like one of her doctors did tell me like, oh, just have her lose weight. And I'm like, I'm not going to do that. She's not overweight. She's not obese. But it's not to the point that
we need to start that pattern now. I wish I would have started that a little bit younger. She always danced though. She was always in dance. But it was always keeping her active. But what a challenge to have that she is not mobile. Like at least my daughter was able to be mobile. Like
she couldn't move neither leg because she got surgery on both hips
and they're legit hungry. This is not like they're trying to be greedy. There's some greedy ass kids out there. I know some of y'all kids that be like, I just want more. Badass motherfucker, teach them some house rules. No, these kids will literally cry to you because they are starving. Like so hungry. The brain is like, my stomach is eating the stomach.
And if I'm honest, to me, the only way I would put my daughter on a diet is if like she had high blood pressure, high cholesterol, like something medical that she really needed to be on a diet. But because it's just weight, but overall she's healthy,
Right.
I don't believe that just because you're a little heavier means that you're super unhealthy.
Right.
And she's a kid. I mean, kids naturally are active anyways. And my daughter also has ADHD, so she can be hyper at times. So that hyperness, I feel like kind of helps balance that out, because she'll have moments where she's like chill on the couch, and then she has moments where she's just jumping off the couch nonstop, back to back to back to back.
And you're like, your hip. We
Yeah,
just put it back together.
yeah, girl,
Chill.
she be stressing me out. I'm like, I know you got hips of steel now, but girl, come on.
We need to keep those hips chill.
Yeah, but like I think also, you know, Hispanic culture, because I've had to deal with it too, where you always have like that aunt or that family member that points out that you've gained weight or that you're too skinny.
What do you mean? Before they even say your name, you're like, hi, ¿estás gorda?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And I refuse.
Déjate comiendo.
Yeah.
It's like, what?
Nah. And that's what I'm not going to do with my daughter. Like, I'm just not. Again, now if a doctor is telling me her health is at risk, she's pre-diabetic, like, you know, something like that, okay.
Right.
But none of those are issues in her case.
So I think, and this will be your doctor to find out, but because of the medication also, she didn't break down sugar, or something with liver and the progressive puberty, whatever it was, they don't break down sugar as easily, so they become pre-diabetic. And that happened to my daughter as well. Like and it's harder for them to lose weight.
Yeah.
So they have to work like twice as hard as most people to even lose any weight.
And that's a lot for a kid to take
a
in.
Lot.
And I'm just not gonna, you know, I have my daughter in therapy too, because I know it's a lot for a 9-year-old to process.
Such a good mom.
Yeah.
She's like, we're gonna fuck this trauma up early, okay?
Yeah, I'm not. Listen, I tell you, I'm very pro therapy, and I find it to be very helpful. I started therapy at 12. So,
wow, let's talk about that.
Yeah.
How? Who put you in therapy?
My grandmother.
Your grandma said, "Tata loca, tata loca." Put her over there. But that's not really going in our culture. My grandmother was just like, "You're crazy."
Yeah. No, my grandmother's always been very pro therapy.
She white?
No.
Okay.
She's like born in Puerto Rico, like full blown Puerto Rican.
Like
but like her mother passed away when she was 13 from breast cancer. And my grandmother kind of like grew up with money while her mom was alive.
Hold on. Her mom.
So my great grandmother passed away.
Your grandma was 13.
Yes, when her mother passed away from breast cancer. So my great grandmother's family like came from money. So my grandmother had like a really good life up until her mom passed away. And then she was like left with nothing, fending for herself at 13. And then she got pregnant with my aunt, I believe at like 16, 17, and then had my dad at 21. And my grandmother was like in abusive relationships, very like toxic relationships. And she eventually like sought therapy. So by the time I kind of came into the picture, she was very like
therapist for everybody. Yeah. You get a therapist. You get a therapist. You go to your dad's son. Come over here. You go to therapy.
Exactly. And my grandmother raised me, so you know, based off just like a lot of the trauma I had to go through growing up, my grandma just like.
Have you ever talked about it? Why it was that your grandma raised you? You're pretty close with your dad.
I am. So it's my dad's mom that raised me. Right. So I grew up with like my paternal side of the family.
You don't hear that much.
Yeah, I know.
Usually bum ass baby daddies.
No, my dad is just the best. No, I cannot complain. But so I have an older sister. I'm a middle child on my mom's side. My mom has 3 girls. My biological mother has 3 girls.
With your dad?
No.
Okay.
So I'm the only child that like she shares with my dad.
Okay.
I have an older sister and I have a younger sister. And you know, my mom was just in a really tough spot when I was around 2 years old. And I ended up going kind of with my dad and like his mom. My dad was still really young. My dad was 18 when I was born. Oh, wow. So my grandmother played a huge role in helping him with me. That's awesome. And but then when I was about 6-7 years old, my dad ended up going to prison, and he was in there till I was about 11, 12. So during that
6 years.
time,
That's a
my
long time.
biological mom nor my dad were in my life at that point.
Where was your mom?
My mom, honestly, I didn't really, I say meet because I don't remember like life with my mom when I was a baby. I didn't really physically see her again till I was like 9-10 years old. So I knew who she was, but I didn't know
Why was she
where
gone
she was
during those years?
So my mom got into like drugs and stuff, and she was getting help. And back then, like as a teenager, I had a lot of anger towards her because I just didn't understand. But now being an adult and being a mom myself, I really understand that like parents aren't perfect and they're like learning to navigate life.
Life was lifing.
And and I think just growing up in New York, and I don't get me wrong, I love New York. I'm from New York myself, but I feel like New York has a way sometimes of making people feel like that's all that is out there. And you don't realize there's so much more to life than being there. And I think both my parents kind of were in that position. And when you grow up in like a low poverty area, it's really hard to come out of that. I'm not gonna lie. So my mom went to go get help, and my sister and I, because my younger sister wasn't born yet, my older sister and I, we have different dads. So back then, like the system did not keep us together. We got separated. So I didn't get to see my oldest sister again till I was about 9-10. That same day that I saw my mom, I got to see my older sister again. And then I also discovered I had a baby sister at the time too. I didn't know I had a younger sister. And it's just crazy how full circle life comes, because now we all literally live like 5 minutes away from each other. And I never grew up with them. So I moved to Florida when I was 12 with my grandmother and my grandfather, and my sister stood in New York. So my younger sister just moved here she's going to make 2 years now. Wow. And my older sister moved here last October. Recent. So this is the first time literally in our whole life. And your mom lives here as well? And my mom. So the first time in our whole life that we're all together.
How did it affect you not having her there? Do you still feel those effects now as a mom? Like,
when I first had my oldest, I kind of developed like a really strong anger towards my mom when I became a mom, because like I really loved my daughter, and I was just like, I cannot picture like leaving her. Right. So I became really angry with my mom, and if I'm honest, I completely detached from my mother at that time. I didn't want to talk to her. I had no interest in like building our relationship at all. And it took me like going to therapy to understand that, I can't undo what's already been done, but we can like work on moving forward. And, that I feel like it took so much from me growing up that I refused to allow it to take from me in my adult life. So my mom and I then started to like work on our relationship, and I was honest with her, like, we got to pace it though, like I know instinctively, because I'm your daughter, like naturally, you want to run to the finish line, but like it's just not that simple for me. Like I have to pace myself because I want to be completely sincere with you about my feelings. I don't want to pretend I feel a certain way.
Your grandma, that's the grandma, right? She's like, you're gonna know your feelings, you're gonna be emotionally intelligent, because these niggas aren't gonna fuck with you.
Yes.
Okay.
So I and my grandmother always, since little, that's your mom though, like you have to love her, your mom was just sick, you have to understand that. Like she never ever said anything negative about my mom. She always she always encouraged me to, but it wasn't that easy for me. Like
of course, you're the kid in it.
Yeah.
And as a child, you should not be the one chasing after your mom.
Yeah. So that's just like how I felt for a long period of time. But again, because even with my dad, like I had a lot of resentment towards him at one point because I like literally was like one day to the next. One day he was here, the next day he was gone. And in the beginning, my family didn't tell me where he was at. They just like told me he was in school. Like, oh,
not
he's
the
in
school.
Yeah, I'm like, everyone wears a uniform. So
when families do that, I'm like, why?
Yes. So now
I'm never gonna want to go to school if it looks like that.
Being an adult and being a mom, I tell my family, like, I know why you did it. I know why you didn't tell me the truth. But I wish you would have. Because me thinking he was in school made me think he was coming back soon.
Or he was going to come back with a whole degree and a big old job.
Had you been honest with me from the beginning where he was at, I wouldn't have like an expectation that he was going to be here quickly. And that ended up affecting me a lot, having this hope that like my dad was.
You can't Google how long school is. Like, was he?
Girl, I was 6. Google I don't even think existed back then.
You're like, wow, by this point, he should be a surgeon.
Yeah.
Like, what's up? He's an astronaut.
Well, I actually had like a really like evil stepmom at the time. And she was the one that told me like, your dad's not in school. He's in jail. Yeah.
No. Yeah. What stepmom means that was his
like
girl.
His wife at the time. Oh, yeah.
What is
she was
evil
just,
witch?
Yeah. She was nasty.
And you were 6?
When she told me, I was probably like 7 by that time.
There you go to 7 years. I'm like, your dad's in jail. You going to hell? Where's she at?
I don't know. And I'm glad I don't know.
She probably in jail herself.
I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't.
I cannot believe. Yeah. That is like telling a kid that Santa Claus is not real.
Yeah. Yeah. That was a lot to like unpack. Like, wait, what?
And your grandma was like, you know what?
Like I thought he was in college, what?
1-800 therapy. Like, she needs it right now.
Yeah. So I was
is your
like,
grandma still around?
She is.
Oh my God. Love her already.
She is such a big part of my life. Alba.
Grandma Alba. Usted, yes. I like her a lot.
She is the best. I talk to her like 20 times a day.
I love it.
If she don't answer my phone call, I'm like, the audacity. What are you doing that you're too busy to talk to me right now?
What could you possibly, how old is she?
She's, oh my God. I don't know if she's like 70. I don't want to age her. So like, I don't know. I think 71 or 72.
However old she is, I would just be like, it don't matter how old. I'm like, usted está muy vieja to be not answering the phone or have a boyfriend. So you better be at my beck and call.
I stopped counting after 70, if I'm honest, because I'm like, I don't like counting because then I'm like, I feel like you're closer and closer to dying. So I just stopped counting. After a certain point, I'm like, I don't want to count how old you're turning. I just lost my grandma last year. Last year? And
she was 89.
Yeah, see, that's why I don't want to count.
Honestly, I will tell you, it really sucked how we lost her because she was so healthy like the day before, literally, and then those 6 months were really rough. But my grandma lived a full life. And when I saw her so sick and like going and deteriorating those 6 months, I was like, Lord, take her. I was literally like, I think it's time to take her. Like sometimes I think we get so attached to the person and wanting them here in a selfish reason that I'm seeing her suffer. And I'm like, this woman drove herself, lived until 89. Her husband died long time ago. She has not been fucked. 20 some odd years with no penis. Like, what? Lord, take her back to her husband and her kids. My dad has passed away. Her only 2 sons gone. Her husband gone. She was the second to last one of her being 13. Sometimes I feel like when we look at our grandparents or even our parents, it's like they live a full life and just reminisce those good days. So if not your grandma, she's gonna be here for another 30 years.
But that's what you hope for anyways. Right. For like any family member. Like I hope you live a long, full life.
But a lot of people want them here for so long. It's like, no, I don't care if you're a vegetable and suffering. I want you here so I can just go and see your body. Yeah. It's like, let them go.
I'm not gonna lie. I told my husband, if I'm ever on life support, don't you pull that plug. You better keep me on there.
Really?
Yup.
I know.
I said, give me at least 3 years. Because sometimes people miraculously come out of it.
You're one of those? So you're not an organ donor?
I was, but then I changed my mind. Yeah, when I got married, I said, I know this looks bad, but can I take that off my driver's license, please?
They can die. I don't want to. No, I'm actually the opposite.
Yeah?
Don't let me go.
That's my husband.
No me tenga ahí with no plugs up my ass and shit. Yeah. Let me go. I do not want anybody coming here and talking shit to me and I can't talk back.
Yeah. My husband's like, first of all, any little thing, I lose a toe, you better make sure they let me die. What? They don't kill people for that. Like, any little thing, he's just like, don't be having me suffer like that.
No.
I'm like, people could be paralyzed and still live. And he's like, nope, take me out. I'm like, you can't just kill somebody because they're paralyzed. You can't do that.
I gave, there's two people that have very strict instructions. And that is if I end up in a vegetative state, pick up some heroin, shoot me up,
I can't,
and overdose me. No,
Stop.
I do not.
You could go to jail for that. Whoever did it.
Figure it out. I'm leaving lawyer for the money.
No.
Money for the lawyer.
So somebody's supposed to lose you, then go to jail at the same time. That's a lot.
We got this. We got lawyers on deck.
You don't remember like a couple months ago, there was like the wife that like killed her husband, but he wanted to die because he was in the hospital and they locked her up for that.
But she was silly. She didn't do it right.
Yeah, he was in the
Yeah, girl. Well,
but if you're a vegetable, where else are you gonna be? I mean, you could be home, but still, they're gonna
they me could go. You know how pissed I would be if I can like my eyeballs can move and I have some nigga talking shit to me, and there's nothing I could do. Me muero ahí mismo. Heart attack. I'm like
That's
gone.
My husband.
I am not. I can't fight you, and you came in my room. Nah. Let me go.
You better let me live on that machine at least 3 years. At least. Yeah.
And I also think about like the families, how the toll it takes on the families.
That's cool.
Like she said, you will be driving here every day coming to see me.
That's cool.
You won't have time for another bitch.
No.
It's me.
Yeah.
Come here and change my diaper.
Yeah.
Ay, don bendito. Go get another man.
I even listen.
This is what it's supposed to be.
And I told my husband, like, God forbid I ever die, you better like be single forever, or I'm gonna haunt you.
Bendito.
Yeah.
Oh.
No.
But is there age? If I like die by this age, because what? God forbid, you're gonna be here for a long time. But you know what? What if he's young?
No.
You got kids to take care of.
No.
You gonna pull his toes at night?
Huh?
You gonna pull his toes at night?
Yeah.
I just ask whoever I marry. I ain't got no man. If you're out there listening, if I die, I am letting you have another woman. So look at that. Don't kill me to get somebody else. But if I die of natural causes, at a very old age, I think move on. Just make sure she's like, you upgrade.
No, because I gotta be dead and you get to have fun and live your life.
I'm gonna be in heaven going through the pearly gates like, what's up,
That's
Jesus?
not fair. No.
You can keep this out. Like, Biden is going right now. Like, Trump is still alive. No, take me to heaven. Take me to the king. Like, out there. I am out. Earth is ghetto. I'll see you when you get here. Deuces. Like, you better pray and follow the 10 commandments. Thou shalt not commit murder. I haven't killed anyone yet. Yeah, no, forget that. Oh, well, I actually love that you shared as much as you did, because I feel like sometimes in shorter form content, like through captions and stories and things that we know about you, but it's like, oh, nah, babe, this is she. Yeah. And she said she's never done a podcast before, and I let her know that no one will ever be like her first. You know, pop the cherry. It's my second time doing it. First husband was the first one. That didn't go so well, but this will. I did want to play a little game with you. It'll be quick. So we went on the Twitter thread streets. It was like really Threads. It was like Threads started. I was like, Threads has been cool. It's like, you know, a brand new school. It's like, not like you went to a new school, but they opened the school. So we are the first class in there. Yeah. So I seen something here. Let's dissect your thoughts really quick. You said, what's the best advice a therapist has ever given you? Mine told me to stop feeling more sympathy for others than I do for myself. And that hit deep. So are you like a super empathetic person?
To the max.
Ugh.
I hate it about myself.
People do it so
like,
dirty.
I love it, but I hate it at the same time.
Like, we're really good people. I'm a really good person, but why does everybody hurt me and make me cry?
Yeah. And I'm such a people pleaser. And I like hate that about myself.
Are you working on it?
I am, but it's not freaking easy. Like, it's so hard. Like, my daughter's starting to like develop that.
And you're like, say no.
That's why I was like, oh, we need to put you in therapy like now.
Boundaries.
Because I don't want you to be like my age. Because I feel like once you're older, it is so much harder to change characteristics about yourself. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, I was just telling my husband this, and he's like, wow, that is really deep. We should talk about that. So, boom, listen. My sister and I, we're the same. You know, we are very, like, we feel everyone's emotions like 10 times harder. And I'm like, you know, and people always tell you gotta stop being so nice. Like, stop letting people walk all over you. And I'm like, why the hell do I have to change?
Right.
Because I'm what the world needs.
Right.
Honestly.
And they're the evil one.
Yeah. If we're keeping it real, we got enough like assholes in this world.
Right.
Right. So like we need more people like me. So it should be switched. Those people need to change.
But
I don't think I need to stop being a good person.
You shouldn't.
Because people take advantage of that. I'm not in the wrong. I'm like, not at all. Like,
I didn't do anything
wrong.
wrong.
I didn't. Like, I care a lot, too much at times. But it should be like that. I feel like the world would be so much, and that sounds so Miss Universe, but like for real, I really peace. Like, yeah. But seriously, like if people actually genuinely cared about each other, genuinely. And I don't need to know you to care about you. I care about humans. Like, that's just how I am. It's not like, oh, I only care about the people that I love. No, like, I feel for people.
Right.
And I'm like, no, I don't think that it's a bad thing to be.
And it's not. And I don't think you need to change who you are.
Yeah.
You can continue that. What I learned is that I had to learn boundaries.
Yes.
And what those boundaries were. And like Jonah Hill, boundaries aren't telling somebody, I don't like you to do this and you can't do this with me or do that with me. And that's my boundary. No, that's controlling and being an asshole. Really, your boundaries are like, you know, if I feel like I don't have the capacity for it, I will say no. Just because someone wants me to do it, I can say no. Or if you continue to disrespect me, then you will no longer be allowed access to me.
Yeah,
you know, there are different boundaries that we learn, and I'm glad that I'm learning boundaries. Although putting up boundaries once you've been a people pleaser for so long, eliminates a lot of your people from your life. And a lot of times it's people that you loved and you family members. You know, they're like, you're not gonna do what I say?
Yeah.
And they walk away, and it's so hurtful because it's like, do I go back and pretend like it's all good? I've done it. And pretend like it's all good and be like, all right, I'll just come here because I just want you to love me. And you're loving me at my detriment, and it doesn't matter when it happens, it will happen. They will stab you in the back again and breach whatever boundaries you try to have, or they will disrespect you. Yeah. So I'm with you there.
That's what my circle is so small. I don't even think I have enough people to make a circle, if I'm honest. Like,
you know what I noticed about you as well? As big of an influencer and social media person you are, it doesn't seem like you have many or any, or you don't have to post them, but like social media influencer friends. Like in the podcast world, we all be hanging out because we came up together.
Yeah.
But I don't see you like hanging out with people.
No, I mean, I'm popular online, but I'm not that popular like in real life. I don't know. I just, you know what it is? I think like when I first kind of started in the industry, a lot of people were using each other, right? To, oh, like, you're big, let me use you, let's collaborate, let's do. And I just like, I believe in genuine like interactions with people, and I don't ever interact with anyone like simply for business. And if that's all it was, then I don't like, to me, that's not really like a friendship then. It's just like, it's a business transaction. You have to
feel the energy.
Yeah. And I think the older I've gotten too, I just have learned, like you said, because again, I'm so big on like pleasing people that I'm just like, I don't care if I only have one friend. I'd rather have one genuine friend than 10 really like shitty friends. And I'm teaching my daughter that now, because she's like takes everything so personal with other kids her age. And I'm like, listen, it's so much better having, even if you only have 2 friends, but that they're really, really good friends, than having like a circle of fake girls around you.
And social media can be like that. And you can be, with your platform, it's very easy, because I encounter this, and I don't have 1 million followers. I got a mere 20 something, and I'm sure half of them are bots. So I experience the more that I grow, people using me for the doors that I may open for them. And when I'm thinking it's something genuine, then I find out there's nothing genuine about it. And I'm sure it has to be like that in the influencer world as well.
Yeah. Like again, plus there was a time I don't know. I'm a little out of touch these days with the social media, even though I still like post content, but I'm really like, I create content and that's all I do. I don't really
go to events and stuff like that.
Not much. I'm not opposed to it, but like you'll see me there. I show face. I interact with the people that are important to interact with, and I'm out. Right. That's it.
You're networking for my net worth.
That's it. Yeah. That's it. And you know, but I've never really been in like any type of drama that I've had to do like an apology video for, and like
those makeup apology videos, una novela.
Yeah.
I be following. That's when they get me.
Like on the outskirts,
they be
the
like,
way that I am.
I did not mean.
Yeah.
They be good.
That's why
it's TMC tea.
No,
So you never had to do an apology?
No.
Did anybody ever have to apologize to you?
No. Because I don't interact with anybody enough for them to do anything to me.
Have you known anyone who has been talking that much, Carlos? Do you know how you've been behind the scenes of like some escándalo, un bochinche?
I mean, I be watching it, don't get me wrong. I be like, ooh, let me, you know, it's like a rabbit hole you fall down.
And
in
the comments?
Yeah, and
amazing.
like my manager and I will like, yo, you heard what was happening? And you know,
we both had that brand deal. Maybe send that email in because they went down, so maybe I could get it now.
I'm gonna still read stuff and all that, but I'm never gonna like. You'll never see me in the comments of like some like drama between two influencers. Like I do not get involved in stuff like that at all. And I never been that way. Like I just always kind of been in my own little.
So you didn't like team up with people like other than them,
and
became,
I
like,
still
besties
became successful. Like I didn't have to get my name involved in drama to be talked about. You know, like I was still spoken about.
I feel like sometimes there was even drama that was done on purpose.
Yeah.
So like I remember seeing some back. My daughter really had me in those YouTube streets because it was mostly YouTube more than Instagram.
Yeah.
And she would be like, and I'm like, I feel like they just trying to go like viral about something.
Yeah. And I never cared to go viral that much. That I was willing to put myself in a situation like that.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
And I think I'm the same way. I think in podcasting world. You're not viral. You're not problematic. You have no drama. I literally. Your drama wasn't even your drama. Word. I be hated and I'm not even in the room and I'm like, what did I do? I'm like, because I knew you. See, I don't hung out with your ass. It's really my one friend. Yeah. She's staying some shit. I'm like, golly, why you fight? I'm like, now they want to fight me because they want to fight you. But I've been friends with her since
I get it.
It's been like 12 years. I'm like, God damn, Mandy.
Yeah. If you ever Google my like Viva Glam K, like the only drama you will find my name attached to was my divorce. And 90% of the tea, like 90% of the tea is not even accurate. It's just people like assuming what's the inaccuracy? Well, people said that like I left to New York and I left him and I dipped on him and there's a lot of stuff. And I never went into detail and I never will because of my daughter. I protect, it's her father.
He wants shit.
Yeah, I would never do that.
She had a reason for leaving y'all.
I would never. Like
But you left him?
I did.
Okay.
But in the end, I feel like the divorce itself.
Did it get messy?
Not really. I mean, when you have kids, it's always a little messy because you can never agree on like, you know. So then, you know, you need a judge to kind of like make you agree. So that's kind of like what happened to us. It didn't get like really, really bad. And we have a great like co-parenting relationship with her.
So what, they thought you like cheated on him or something?
Girl, they thought everything. Like name it, they assumed it. Like all of it.
Really?
Because I never said why we got a divorce. So people were just like.
So why did you get a divorce?
I never said it. And I'm never going to say it because we have a kid together.
I mean,
and I just
okay.
like.
I don't think it's cheating.
Like I said, we've all gotten our hearts broken before. So, you know.
You know what, sir?
No, I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
But it's okay. If you did it, if he did, it's okay because like it led you to
we were
man.
Young. Like honestly, looking back, I tell him all the time, like I could laugh at the things that I thought were the end of the world back then.
Oh, me too. I was married to my daughter's dad from 18 until I think 23, 24.
Yeah, that was around the time that I got divorced.
We grew apart. Who I was when I was 17 versus 25. I'm like, bro, we're two different people.
Now, 25 to 32 is not that big of a gap, but I'm so different.
Yeah, absolutely.
So different.
Super
that
different.
Like I've had to.
Mine still ain't shit. Clearly,
no. My daughter's dad. He's a very active dad, and that's what matters to me. Like
yes, can't relate, but absolutely.
Yeah, no, I
shout
can't.
Out to him.
I can't complain. He actually lives like 5 minutes from us. He intentionally moved closer.
I love that.
To be closer to
Look
her.
At that. Therapy and God and your grandma.
Yeah,
they've been on your side.
Yeah,
I like grandma.
Yeah,
she's a good one. Okay, so since we have been talking way too much, we're not gonna go to the question. We'll do that one later. But okay, one more really quick and then we're done. Promise, Carlos, we're gonna talk to the Lord and we out of here. You already said this, which I thought it was kind of funny. You've been paying. She goes, yes, I've been paying for a gym membership for 3 years. No, I don't go. One day I will. That's what motivated me. That's what keeps me motivated to make it there eventually. Duh.
Yeah.
I pay for Orange Theory since I lived in Jersey. I've been maybe 3 times since I've been back, and it's been a year and a half.
Yeah.
Almost.
I even pay for the childcare, and I'm like, why do I pay for that?
You had the additional child, because just in case when you show up, them kids gotta go.
Yeah,
and I keep saying I'm gonna get rid of Orange Theory, but it's like the second I get rid of it, I'm gonna be like, I want to go run. It's never gonna happen. But I mean,
I'm not gonna lie. Like, I got a new card, and I forgot to give the gym my new card number. So like the card declined because they don't have the new one.
So you just left it,
and I was like, I should just leave that. It's a sign. Stop paying for it. Like,
you know what card is mine on? Damn, because they charge that $129 every month, and I'm like, Dios mío, you know what I can do with this money? It's groceries.
I know my mom or my grandma. She's always like, cancel the damn membership, and I'm like,
I'm going.
I'm gonna go.
Imagine one day water's out or whatever, and the gym's the only one that has a shower. You got the membership to take a shower.
Exactly,
and they're gonna want to use that membership.
Yeah, and they can't get in.
No. Could be stinky outside.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, this was really good. Thank you for coming. I love your energy. Of course. 5 years later, we made it happen. That also shows, keep trying. There's so many. I don't think you're the first one. I stalked Fabiana. Oh, and also,
she's great.
Love her.
She's so sweet.
One other thing about like reaching out to people, and this is like on the business side and podcasting. One, back then, my podcast was small. She was popping. So I can't even blame her for not even seeing that DM. But continue to grow. At some point, it's going to get there. And then it might be, if I DM'd her today, she probably wouldn't see it still. I went and found websites and emails, and somebody was going to hit.
I have a manager now.
Was going to get this email or this DM. So we sent enough emails to where she was like, oh, who are you? And she was like, no, we're actually going through some shit right now. And she's not doing anything. And I was like, all right, I'll be patient. She said, hit us back in 6 weeks. I said, Stephanie, mark the calendar 6 weeks from today. Automated email to her manager. And literally it's what we did, because it doesn't matter who it is. It could have been you who has a million, or it could have been Ariel when she was a medical coder, right? But I wanted her story. She was just like, she just posts her life on social media. And I'm like, we're going to continue going. Same thing when I had Charlotte on the show. He kept saying, yeah, one day, like, you better get it together. And then it's like, it finally happened years later. So just keep going and keep trying. Whoever it is you're trying to close as a client, get as a speaker, or collaborate with, or a brand partnership, harass them until you get a no.
Yeah, I agree.
Paola wants Khloe Kardashian. If you know Khloe Kardashian, send her to Paola's way. Because I don't know what to do with Khloe. She's not going to tell me nothing about Tristan.
I don't want to know about Tristan.
I do.
That's what we all want to know, no?
I want to talk about Tristan. I want the tea. A Kardashian, we have a strict 59 minutes and 59 seconds. And she's going to walk out, because I am not paying no Kardashian fee. I'm paying it all.
You gotta calm down. We got it.
I'm not paying nobody. Okay, so we're gonna close out the show with a Bible verse, because people sometimes come for the mess, but stay for the message. And the message on this one is 2 Corinthians 12:9. It says, my grace is all you need, for my power is the greatest when you are weak. And this one stood out to me because I remember feeling desamparada, like hopeless, during that time of when Ayana was diagnosed, when my engagement was over, like so many times during my life, divorce, my family drama, business, maybe like not getting a client that I wanted, or feeling defeated, just not going to the gym and seeing a new teacher. And I'm like, golly, go back in there. Like bloated days, I'm like, Lord, I'm weak. I am weak. But he always says, my grace is all you need, and my power is the greatest when you are weak. So at those weakest moments, I've learned throughout the past 5 years coming back to the Lord, that into church, not necessarily the church person, but I mean, I do go to the church, but back to God and my relationship with him, that when I've been at the weakest, I have called and hung on to his power and his grace, and baby, deals are closing. Viva Glam K is here. Like Paola showed up, Carlos is tired as fuck, and he's like, I'm still here. I have so many blessings regardless. And I think it's because even till today, I have days that I'm weak.
Yeah.
Weak. I'm like, I cannot do this anymore. Right now, going through it with my 18-year-old. I'm like, love me. Oh, she hates me. Okay, Lord, I'm weak.
Yeah.
Give me power. Give me grace. And these are times that are hard. And on the exterior, social media, it might look like, oh, she's doing great. And I am.
And I let people know when I'm going through
right,
it. Y'all don't see me here because I'm stressed behind the scenes.
Not too long ago, I was with a psychiatrist.
Yeah.
He thought I was bipolar, gave me the wrong medication, and I was fucked up. And I'm on social media telling everybody, I can't form a sentence.
I can't.
This nigga thought I was bipolar.
Stop. Are you serious?
Fuck me up. I had to get on him in 3 days. I'm like, sir,
gosh.
the fuck you put me on? And he was like, oh, like, my bad. And I'm like, wow, my bad. Try this instead. Now I'm good. Adderall, 10 milligrams, extended release, working perfect. I have been so focused. Like this interview, I actually heard everything you said. Usually during interviews, I tune out. It'll be like a point where I tune out or I like, you're saying something, but I had another thought and my brain goes somewhere else. ADHD is a motherfucker. And I want to have Mel Robbins. I am saying this right now and manifesting Mel Robbins on my podcast, whether it's virtual or in, I will go to LA tomorrow. That white lady calls me. She is going to be the first white person I'm going to have in the show in 5 years.
You've never had one?
I've never had. So with my production company and academy, I only have worked with people of color.
I love that though.
We've launched over 800 pods. They've all been BIPOC. I've never recorded with a white person. But I feel like Mel Robbins, you are it. You are coming on the show. We're going to talk about ADHD because I feel like she is me and I am her. And
I would like to hear how it affects like adulthood.
I'm going to send you her episode.
Yeah.
Her episode is so good. I'm sending it to you.
Because I only know it with my daughter, but as like a child. I would like to see
she
how
didn't find out until 47, I believe, when she was
Really?
diagnosed. Her kids got the shit. All right, Carlos, I'm done talking. Lord, we are weak. We have ADHD. It's the ADHD that continues to mess us up. Like, I don't know to tell you. This is what happened. How can they find you? If you have anything going on, let us know, all the good stuff.
So I have my Instagram, Viva Glam K. It's Viva _glam_K. Then I have my lifestyle page, Vida with Viva. I'm Viva Glam K everywhere. TikTok, Instagram,
nice.
YouTube, Facebook.
Do you have like a business or something, stuff that you like have? Like, do you still do makeup for people?
Not really.
Okay.
Just kind of people like that I know here and there. I really focus my energy and everything into content creating. Yeah. And being that I have like technically two different platforms, because I have like the beauty one and then I have the lifestyle one, I'm always creating content because I create different type of content all the way around.
So y'all go click the links. When she puts in her story, she's like, love this product. Click the link. It helps. You don't have to buy it. Click it.
No, I talk
buy
about
it,
everything. Like, I don't just, you don't like makeup? That's cool. I got something you like.
You got kids? Bet. You got a husband? Bet. You're looking for one? I'll show you how I got one. Well, we didn't even get into the love story and how that all happened, but it's fine. I'll bring you back one day.
Oh, for sure.
I'm going to be like, we have kids. We want to be away from them every once in a while. I'm like, girl, come on.
Girl, tell me to come tomorrow. I'll be here.
Stop it, because I will. I take this serious. No, but again, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. I'm bringing you back. We're gonna do fun stuff. I'm actually
excited.
You might start a podcast.
Never know, right?
It'll be fun, even between you and your baby dad.
You know
husband.
what's funny? I was just telling my husband.
I'm over here, my unmarried ass. I got baby daddy.
Stop! Like 2-3 days ago, I was like, we should start a podcast.
You should.
I literally just
film it out of
that.
here. You're gonna sit there, se sienta aquí, le tira la
I
piernita.
literally
Actually,
told
have
him that.
another couch over there. You can like put his leg over and be like really homey. Yes. Or he can come to your house.
Don't tell me that.
Bueno, I just did. All right. Well, we'll see Viva Glam K on the podcast streams very, very soon. Ready to launch. I'll see you back next week. Goodbye.